my goodness. Look at this hair. Yeah. I love when you guys ask me really great questions in the comments, and then I am inspired to do a video first thing in the morning because this is what my hair looks like. Look, this is so 90s. I love it. Like, if only my bangs would just get a little bit bigger, then it would be super 90s. Okay, I'm gonna do the video just like this, just for you. Okay, so I'm getting a ton of questions on BUD, best used by date, okay, on compounds. And we'll talk about injector pens too. So I want to go over a few key points, and I want to better explain this to you. First things first, disclaimer out of the way.
I ain't a doctor. I ain't your doctor. This is not medical advice. Talk to your doctor.
Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about best used by date, okay? And I'm gonna explain this to you the same way that I explain it to people who are just starting out on a GLP1. The best used by date is a requirement that these compounding pharmacies have to use, and there are certain stipulations based off of the type of pharmacy that it is. Now, for those of you who don't know, compounding pharmacies come in two varieties, A and B. We'll just keep it simple, A and B, okay? And each one of them have different requirements, both at a state level and a federal level, about what they can do. And we're not going to get into all that because I don't want to make this complicated. I want to simplify it. So, one of them is only allowed to put a 30-day best used by date. The other is allowed to do an extended date. Now, depending on the state, depending on the pharmacy, depending on if it's A or B, right? All of those things are going to factor in. What does that mean? It means that a best used by date is the parameters in which you should try to use up that single vial once it is punctured. Okay? Now, this is where we get a little complicated and people have a tendency to freak out. If you are microdosing, if you are buying, a larger dose to then be able to use it longer, you need to be smart about where you're purchasing from. You need to make sure that you are getting a single month per vial. There are some telehealth companies out there that are utilizing pharmacies that are doing multi-month vials. For example, you sign up, you do a 3-month supply, and they give you one big vial. You don't want that. That is garbage. Okay? The reason why it's garbage is not that there's anything wrong with the medication. I'm just being dramatic for effect. You don't want that because you are going to be puncturing that vial way more times than you are technically meant to, right? Because you're trying to either space out your dosing, microdose, save money, whatever your reasoning is, you are going to be puncturing that vial a lot, right? If you have a 3-month supply in one big vial. So what does that mean? Every time you puncture the vial, you are potentially introducing bacteria. Now, the reason why we want to minimize or limit the amount of bacteria is we don't want to be injecting bacteria into our bodies. right? Not good. Is your immune system going to, eradicate 99.9% of it? Yes, if it's functioning properly. Is there a chance that you could introduce something because it was, introduced into the vial and then it started to grow and then, right? And then you're then injecting that into your body? Can that be problematic? Also, yes. So we want to minimize the risk. That's why we use alcohol wipes on the skin before injection and then again after injection, right? And we want to keep everything as clean as possible. If you're using compound, you're cleaning the vial, right? You're washing your hands. You're trying to keep as sterile an environment as you can. I mean, obviously we're not in a lab, right? Most of you are in your kitchens. Stop doing that. But you get what I'm saying, right? So, but we want to keep things as clean as humanly possible in our regular lives. This will minimize the amount of bacteria. And just like Nurse Diane told us, you need to be wiping the top of your vial with that alcohol wipe for at least 10 seconds. I like to do 20 or 30 seconds. I'm an overachiever. You can be an overachiever too. Okay, so best use by dates. I'm going to try to stay focused here. So people have a tendency to panic about the best use by date. And there are a few things that I want you to keep in mind. And the example I'm going to give you, again, this is the same way I explain it to newbies, is yogurt. Now, chances are you are consuming some kind of yogurt, whether it's dairy-free, whether it's Greek, whether you're making dips or you're doing something sweet, whatever the case may be, chances are there's a protein yogurt in your fridge. I know it's in there. So you are already familiar with an expiration date, which guess what? Is also regulated. They have to put a date on there. Now, if it is the day after your fabulous protein yogurt's expiration date, if you go to eat it, does that mean it's going to kill you? No, of course not. Does it mean that some of the probiotics in the yogurt may not be as effective because they've expired? Yes. Is there a need to open it up and check it and make sure that it's not, it doesn't have mold growing in it, it doesn't look yucky, it doesn't taste weird? Is there a need to do that because we're past that expiration date? Absolutely. So is going past the expiration date the end of the world? In my opinion, no, as long as you're being reasonable with it. If you are stretching out your meds to, 2-3 months, you're pushing it. You're pushing it. Can it be done? Yes. Is there a potential for bacteria to be introduced? Yes, and you need to be aware of that. Is there a potential that using something past its best use by date means that it's going to be not as effective? Also, yes. So, for people who are stocking up currently on compounds, and if you haven't watched my videos about that, please go watch those videos. You want to make sure that you're doing a few things. One, you're getting 1 vial per month, whether you're spacing out your dosing or not. 1 vial per month. Do not waste your money on multi-month vials because you are running the risk of not only bacteria, but it not being as effective, right? You want to get your money's worth. So don't go that option. 1 vial per month. That means that you need to calculate your dosing. If you're buying a higher dose to then spread it out, okay, you need to be doing that. I'm going to add some links to my description box, which is becoming ginormous at this point, to try to help people navigate dosing. You always, always, always need to double check yourself. Okay. So, you need to be smart about the best use by date. Now, let's talk about injector pens, because you want to be rotating through those as well. The injector pens have different preservatives than single-use vials from Lilly Direct or Novocare, whatever. So you need to be very, very careful if you are somebody who is getting, Lilly Direct or Novocare, right? Because those are single dose vials, which means they are not meant to be punctured, multiple times and spread out over more than a month, right? It's a different delivery system. So it's not going to have the same best use by dates, and you're not going to have the same practices. I am currently looking into seeing if anybody is utilizing adding backwater, which is BAC water, bariostatic water, which is designed to help eliminate, right, bacteria growth in a sterile solution. I'm currently researching to see if anybody is adding that to the single dose vials, right, to then dose out. But so far, I haven't been able to find anybody who's doing it. I'm not making a recommendation for you to do that either way. I'm just telling you what I've been looking into. So if you know of somebody who's doing that, please let me know their channel down in the comments below, because I would like to talk to them about what they're doing, what their results have been, right? So I can offer better help to you guys. So you need to be careful, and you need to stay on top of your dates. Here's the other thing that you need to do. And I did this with my compound Tirzepatide because, as many of you know, I opted to get the 16.6, even though I'm not on 16.6, so that, right, I can get my money's worth. I'm on 12.5. So one thing that I did was I took a little label, and I labeled that vial with the date that it was first punctured. It is so important that you keep track of your dates, whether you want to do it in a notebook, right, or some safe place in your office or whatever, or on your phone. Be careful with doing it on your phone, because if your phone died, right, you'd lose all your data. You want to email it to yourself. You want to, however you want to do it. I personally like the little label that's on the vial, because then, right, if I forget, which, hello, I can't even remember what I ate yesterday, then, you can just look at the vial and go, oh yeah, I started this in February. Okay, I need to make sure that I'm, dosing this out correctly so that I use it up in a timely manner. So that's one thing that I've started doing that I highly recommend that you do as well. The other thing you can do is, if you have injector pens, you can label the box, right? If you have boxes in your fridge, you can label them with just, again, a little label on the outside that tells you the date, so that you can factor those in and rotate them and use them up. For example, I had some 2.5 and 5 that was from the beginning of my Mounjaro quest. And while they weren't getting close to needing to be used up, they did not have dates that were as far pushed out as other ones, right? Newer boxes that I had received. So I decided to go ahead and use those up to then, right, keep the stock up to date as best as possible. So you just want to keep track of it. But using a peptide after its best use by date, technically speaking, assuming that there's no bacteria, is not the end of the world. The worst that's going to happen is that it's not going to be as effective, which means it's not going to be as strong. You may notice the appetite suppression is not as good, or, you know, that it just feels weaker in general. Again, not factoring in the risk of bacteria. So you just want to keep all of these things in mind. For most people who are using safe practices, right, doing the best they can to use it up in a timely manner, they don't run into an issue. But I know that for some people, they are in maintenance and they're spacing out their doses really, really far, and that can start to become problematic over time. So you want to make sure that you're always looking at your vial. You want to make sure that you're not running into various issues like crystallization. I'll put a picture up here to show you what that looks like. You want to make sure you're not pre-filling your syringes. Guys, do not do that. Secondly, if you are going to a doctor's office or a med spa and they are giving you pre-filled syringes, stop. Stop going there. First of all, they're going to lose access to compound anyway. And if they don't, then they're likely getting research grade, which they're charging you top dollar for, so you need to stop going there anyway. So don't do that. Don't do pre-filled syringes, okay? The medication is not meant to be in a plastic syringe for an extended period of time. It's not meant to be exposed to light. It's not meant to be, at room temperature for more than 30 days, right? Like, all of these things, no. So if you're going to a doctor's office, if you're going to a med spa and you're getting pre-filled syringes, you need another option. Dosing for yourself is not hard. It's not. I know that it can be intimidating, but I promise you it's not hard once you get the hang of it. You can double check yourself. You can use apps and programs to triple check yourself. It's not bad. It's not. We got plenty of technology, baby. Don't you worry. Okay, so remember what I said about the yogurt. Is it going to kill you? Probably not. Do you need to make sure that you're checking it and that it looks good, right? Obviously, we're not going to be able to see all the bacteria, right? So do the best you can. Use safe, clean practices when handling all of your stuffs. And yeah, that's really the best advice I can give you for best use by dates. So just think about that. Milk, eggs, right? Same kind of thing. It's like, oh, we're a day or two past. Is it going to be okay? I don't know. Let's check it out. Yep, we're okay. Or no, we're not okay. And we're going to toss it, right? Remember that no matter how much money you spent on that vial, it's not worth your health. So if you have a concern, if you're worried, if you don't like the Russian roulette of, doing multiple punctures and potentially introducing bacteria, if any of that is scary to you, then just don't do it. Just throw it away. $100, $200, $300 is not worth your health. I understand that we have finally got a hold of something that is giving us the success that we so desperately have wanted for all of our lives, for many of us. And I understand that feeling. I just want you to remind yourself that it's not worth a bacterial infection. It's a couple $100 here or there, right? A couple pounds here or there. It's not worth it if you're worried about it. Okay. I hope that you found this video helpful. I hope that you have enjoyed my crazy hairdo. If you did, definitely be like totally righteous and stuff and hit that like button, because that would be tubular. Oh, Kevin, he got hot under the blanket. Oh no, Kevin. He does this thing where he gets out from under the blanket and then he just flops over. It's really adorable. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. I'd love to have you along for the ride. I put out new videos every day. So, and sometimes multiple a day, like today. I've got the day off today, so who knows? I might post another video. Maybe I'll get another really fantastic question. If you have questions, make sure you put them in the comments section, because I do read all of your comments. If you're looking for a positive-only support group, I've got you covered. Link is in the description box below. And as always, be kind and totally rewind.